watching West Hartford Community TV.
You're watching West Hartford Community Television for the community, by the community.
Yay!
She's a talk show host with style. She's a talk show host with flair. And she struts around the town from Poohback to the center. West Hartford is her game. Get to know her if you dare. Where in West Hartford is Adele Clark? Tell me where in West Hartford is Adele Clark?
Hello and welcome to What's Happening West Hartford. I'm Adele Clark and I'd like to welcome you to my Mother's Day May episode. On today's show, I'm going to have Lisa Reck, a designer, Alice Corella, a dancer, and me. I hope you enjoy. I'd like to welcome Lisa to the studio.
Thank you.
And her bags are Bags in Bloom, and I'm kind of featuring West Hartford moms, hardworking West Hartford moms. Lisa, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I've been living in West Hartford for about 8 years now.
Okay.
And I'm a stay-at-home mom. I have three crazy boys. They're my crazy boys, and I love them. They're awesome, though. And 8, 6, and 3.
Wow.
And they keep me pretty busy.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
How do you balance everything out? Like, do you just do your bags, or do you do other stuff as well?
I do a lot of volunteer work. I try to lead by example, and hopefully that will pass on down to my boys.
Yes.
I do a lot of work with our church, and I teach Cub Scouts.
Wow.
I teach CCD, and just do random volunteering and try to get my oldest son involved, Carter. So
That's nice. So
Yeah.
you try to get your kids involved with your volunteering.
just so I didn't have a lot of that growing up, so I just want to give that to them and help them understand that there's more to this whole life and planet that we live on besides themselves.
Yes.
So it's a challenge, but slowly they're kind of
Understanding.
Yeah.
So you kind of do the volunteering as well as making your bags.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And how do you find the time managing?
It can be difficult at times, especially this time of year because it's spring and now I have 2 boys doing Little League and
Of course.
juggling 2 different schedules, and my youngest one keeps me really busy. So I do a lot of sewing at night. So I'm like the night owl. So I like to be up really late at night, and I'll stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. But then I'm feeling it the next morning when I have to
Sure.
get them all up. So
Coffee.
Yeah, lots of coffee. Yes.
I think that's our best friend. Now, what's your favorite thing about volunteering?
We live in a really nice town with so many resources. So I just, it just makes me feel good that I can help somebody else. We're sponsoring a walk against hunger. We're participating in that
love it.
coming up in May, and really bringing that issue to the forefront because, the kids have all they can ever want to eat in our house.
Sure, and they never stop.
And they never stop. They eat me out of house and home.
Of course.
I'm like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do when they're teenagers?
Sure.
So for them to kind of they're young. So, but our 8-year-old, he kind of gets it, that there are children that go to school hungry and there are children that go home hungry. And
So you play a big role in that.
yeah, so we're just trying to bring that to the forefront and really, make them
it.
aware. And people might criticize and say, oh, I wouldn't want my kids to be exposed to that or to
But they
that.
have
But it's
to.
all in, with good taste
Sure.
and with moderation. So
Of course, and you have to, and for them to understand, they have to see both sides of it.
Yeah.
They're fed very well, but at the same time, you need to see the other
Right.
side. Now, let's bring it to kind of a happier, brighter topic here. Your bags are absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
I see you have like a different variety. I see, dance bags.
Yes.
And these roses. Is this something significant to your bags?
Yeah, so I started making my tote bags. I do mostly tote bags and bags in general. I don't really make handbags, so that's where I'm really different as well. But my 3 flowers that I roll out of fabric, they just represent my 3 boys.
Oh,
so,
that's amazing.
Yeah, and I don't have any girls, so, you know.
This is your girly side.
This is my girly side, and I don't really get to be a girl that much at home, which is fine. I'm not, you know, so I just...
You do it in your bags.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yes.
Now, I see a different variety. So, like, this would be like a makeup bag, I guess.
Yes, so those are my makeup bags.
And I love these little change purses.
Coin pouches.
Coin pouches.
Yeah.
Let's make that clear because you make for boys as well.
I make them for boys as well, yes.
I love it. Now these.
And pencil case.
Oh, and
yeah.
pencil cases,
So,
which are
like,
great.
and they're the boy
Oh, see, this
pencil-
is nice for them to put in their backpack.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
And they make great party favors too. I sell a lot of those. Like,
good idea.
If your child is having a birthday party and you are doing a certain theme, I could make them, you know, based on that theme.
I love it.
And you fill it with like pencils,
Right.
And, you know, candy or whatever.
Better
you
than
wanna
getting
do.
those little plastic bags that you get at all the
Right.
birthday
And
parties.
they're reusable,
Of
yeah.
course. Now, these dance bags are another little addition, I guess you would
Yes,
say, to
I
what
just
you do.
started my dance line, yeah.
Which is so cute. I love it.
Yeah.
What is your favorite bag or accessory to make on this table? Or you like to kind of stay in this fashion or the one that's on the floor?
Yeah, this is my larger tote.
I love
and,
it. That looks like something like a teacher would use.
Yeah, actually, I'm glad you mentioned teacher because I have these teacher totes, and it's end of the school year time, and these make perfect gifts for teachers. They're reasonably priced, and there's nothing like getting a homemade, you know, gift from one of your students.
Because we're all worried about what we're going to give the teachers.
Right.
And here, which I'm going to use with my business cards for What's Happening West Hartford, are these little business card holders. Well, I guess it's time for me to wrap it up. They're giving me the little wrap it up sign. So I'd like to thank Lisa and Bags and Bloom for stopping by.
Thank you so much for having
Hardworking
me.
mom over here. I think we all wish that we could be Miss Lisa over here. But thank you for being here. I appreciate it. And
Thank you.
we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
She's a talk show host with style. She's a talk show host with flair.
Hi, Adele Clark here for What's Happening West Hartford. Continuing our Mother's Day special, I want to thank Lisa Reck of Bags and Bloom. We just got back from her studio, and it was so much fun. We made my new bag, and now I have Alice Corella here. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Adele.
Alice Corella is a dance owner and dancer of Alice Corella Dance Studio in Elmwood. And Alice, tell me how you got started in dance.
Well, first of all, I've been dancing since I was 3. And when I was about 8 years old, I knew what I wanted to do for my life. In fact, I used to stop people at bus stops. It was like a captured audience, and I would perform for them because while they're waiting for the bus. But I started actually teaching when I was 16. I went to Avon. I had one of my girlfriends drive me to Avon and rented a hall, and then put little flyers all over the cars in the parking lots. Ended up with 36 students. So I went home and told my dad, "Dad, I need you to buy me a car." And he said, "What do you mean you need me to buy you a car?" I said, "Well, at least get me the deposit on it so I can get to my business." And when I told him about it, he said, "You better make sure you take typing and shorthand so you have something to fall back on," when I was in high school. So that was when I started, of course.
And you were still in high school at 16?
Yeah.
Having your own studio.
Right.
Did people from your high school take classes there?
A couple. But I taught most of those people in my home because it was in my neighborhood. I taught all the neighborhood kids and all my cousins. And in fact, my first recital, I ran into the program a couple of days ago, excuse me, and I looked at it, and 90% of them were cousins and or relatives of some type and girlfriends and, but then that's how you start.
Sure, you knew that's exactly what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Now, did you dance like professionally previous to that?
When I got out of high school, of course, my parents wanted me going to college.
Sure.
But I already knew what I wanted to do for my life, and there were no dance majors, no dance programs in colleges. And anyway, my only choice was St. Joseph's College, which was right across the street from my house.
Wow.
Meanwhile, my brother's at Berkeley in California.
Oh, he took off.
Yeah. It's all right for the man, but not the girl.
Sure.
So anyway, I pleaded and pleaded for days to go to New York. And after listening to me for about 3 weeks, my father finally said, "You want to go to New York?" "Yes, Dad." "Okay, go." I was on the next train to New York. Took an audition, made the audition the very first day I was there, started rehearsal the second day I was in New York.
Wow.
Yeah, I was very fortunate.
That's so amazing. Now, after you started dancing in New York, when did you just transition back to Connecticut?
Well, that wasn't an easy transition.
Sure.
Because I figured I had my life pretty well planned out then, and my plan was to perform as long as I could. Then when I'm an old lady, teach.
Sure.
But now I'm 19 years old, dancing in New York, and my father and mother said, "You're coming home. You're going to be taking over your dance teacher's studio."
Wow.
Because she was going on Jackie Gleason's show. So I went home begrudgingly. I wasn't very happy about it. But once I started teaching, I knew I loved to teach. I did it as a child with my own teacher, helping her. So it just worked out. And then I finally figured out I can get married, I can have children, and I can still teach.
Exactly.
So that's what I did.
And you've had your kids in the studio with you.
Yeah.
I had the pleasure of going to her studio yesterday and seeing her dance with the father-daughters, which was, I think I've never seen something more amusing. The men with their daughters, the best connection that they have.
Tap dancing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Her son is in the class and your granddaughter.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. Now, you brought your kids with you to the studio?
My children, I have 2 boys and 1 girl. My daughter teaches with me full time.
Okay.
My boys danced until they were about 12, 13 years old.
Wow.
And then they decided they liked football better.
Of course.
So, but they grew up at dancing school. And that father-daughter thing was one of the best things that we've ever done at the studio. We've done it now for about 25 years.
Wow.
And one year we had 25 fathers dancing with their daughters. I sent a tape to Disney World, and they performed at Disney World. We were there for 4 days.
Wow.
Performing on the Tomorrowland stage. So it's so special because the daughters make such a connection with their fathers, and the fathers are supporting something and participating in something that they really love. In fact, last year I choreographed a father-daughter tap dance for his daughter's wedding.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
so
so
they
it's
all
really-
danced together.
Yeah, it was really,
That's
it's
so
great.
fun.
It's
Now, how long does it take you to do a dance recital? Because planning for those dance recitals that you do.
Well, it should take a year, but I kind of push it all in about 6 months. And
incredible.
because it takes people don't realize it, to choreograph a number and to rehearse a number, it takes at least 3 hours to get 30 seconds choreographed and cleaned.
Wow.
So when you only see the class once a week for an hour,
It's only,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, it doesn't work out logistically.
sure.
So,
And now, how young are your youngest students?
I have 21 2-year-olds. They're 2 years old. They don't look old enough to walk, never mind dance.
And they're still.
They're so precious. There's one little girl who's been wanting to dance since she was born because she's there with her older sister, and she was late for the first class, and she comes in the front door and she starts yelling. Now she's 2. Wait for me! Wait for me! So now every week she goes, I'm here! I'm here!
So everybody knows.
Yeah.
Everyone knows. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah,
now,
they're great.
do you teach adults as well?
Yes, we have students from 2 years old to about, I would say 68.
Oh my goodness. So 68.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
So do you miss dancing?
No, you know what I found out? That the best thing I have going for me is the audience that watches me are my students. And they're the ones that really care.
Yes.
They care.
Sure.
And you're inspiring, hopefully, other dancers to have the same wonderful, fortunate following or career that I've
Yes.
had doing my passion.
Yes.
You know, so I was very lucky. I still love what I do.
You do, and you make everyone's
Yeah.
eyes twinkle.
Yeah, I love what I do, and I'll dance as long as I can dance.
Sure,
So,
and why shouldn't you?
very
And if you're
fortunate.
teaching everybody to be exactly what you were, so.
Well, we've had at least 10 of my students open their own schools, 2 dancing in Disneyland, several dancing in companies in
Wow.
California, all over the country. So, and we keep touch with each other. Several of my girls are teaching at college level. So it's very gratifying.
You've made a nice impact.
Very gratifying, yeah.
And the location that you are in West Hartford, how long have you been at that location?
I've been there since 1979. Wow. Well, listen this. I just celebrated 50 years teaching 2 years ago.
That's crazy. So,
50
and you
years.
still look like you're 21.
Yeah.
Not a day over 21.
I love you too, Adele.
Well, if she's been there since 1979, and that was the year I was born, she's been there for a long time.
Yeah.
But thank you, Alice, for being here. I had so much fun,
you so
and
much.
hopefully I can learn how to dance like you.
Oh, you're on. You're on. I expect to see you at the studio, not just with your daughter, but dancing.
Fair enough. I will try. Thanks again. And
Thank
you're
you,
watching
Adele.
What's Happening West Hartford. I am kind of doing the rest of my Mother's Day special. My mother was supposed to be here today, but she's sick, so I'm gonna wing it without her, since I've learned from her all my life. All this stuff here she made, and these bows are something that she makes on her own. So we'll start with making the bows so you can learn how to make these, which are absolutely fabulous. So we take these and we're just going to fold the fabric into a bow. And we're gonna take a sewing machine and sew the edging. And all you have to do is sew each one on a zigzag pattern for all of you out there that know how to sew. And once we put that together, we now have our bow. And then we take our fabric and we're gonna wrap that around the center of the bow. And you're going to take your clip. You can use any size clip. And all you need is your trusty old glue gun. And you're gonna glue the actual bow right here, right on the bottom. And we glue that right to our clip. And that's gonna be our clip for a headband or for a hair clip. So can wear that right there. But that's just a simple bow. And moving right along to our headband. So we take a blank headband, which has nothing on it. And headbands are good to wear in the morning. If you don't want to do your hair and you just want to throw your hair up, you can take your headband. And you can get these plain headbands at Michael's or Joann's, any simple arts and crafts store. And I like to usually just take ribbon And again, all this stuff is at Joann's, so this is like a funky ribbon here. But I took this one, I just put a white ribbon on it, just to make it easier to glue the ribbon to the headband. So we take our thick ribbon right here. I usually cut about 12 inches, depending on how big I want my specific bow that I'm using. But this one I actually do a fold. So we take the ribbon, and here's our 12 inches. And here I already did one just to like start it off to make it easier, but all we're doing is folding it and gluing each fold so that you have the design on the side. So you take the ribbon and you fold over, and as you're folding, you're just making one little flap and you're adding your glue right to the bottom. And it's pretty easy. This is a project you can probably do with your kids if you want to. Nice Sunday project if it's raining, because there's really not much sewing that goes into it. So this is something that they can do. Obviously, make sure you advise them, because the hot glue gun is something that you want to be careful with. So you just continue folding. And there's another flap, and you do the same thing all the way through until you get to the end. Once you're at the end, you want to fold the bottom loop all the way through. So you have that extra flap and you don't see that. So that's just going to go right underneath. So on here, once you have your flap already done, which is right there, I'm going to glue that to the actual headband. And again, I had each flap has all the glue there, and I just glued it on top. So now it's kind of plain. You don't really have anything on there. So I add one more little funky. I like stuff that is outside the box. So you can add another ribbon right to the ending of the actual headband, and just snip it right down below. Again, all you need is 2 little dots. I put one here and one at the other end, so you don't have any gap. And it's easier when you put the ribbon down on top of the fabric that's already there. Sometimes the plastic is hard to glue to, so you want to have another piece of fabric underneath it so it's easier to glue. So we just glue that right there. And I like to add some embezzlements. So I'll add, I have some pearls here. And again, this is really easy. You don't need much of the glue gun. I just put one right in the center, and I put another one right here. My kids love wearing headbands. They use the headbands and the bows and stuff for their dolls. You'll see I have a doll here, which we'll do on our next one, to make clothing for the doll and to make hats. All you do is knit, and I know there's a lot of people out there that knit for themselves. And so here you put the pearl right on top, and we'll continue doing that all the way through. And we'll have a nice simple 1, 2, 3 project. And on the other side, I'll add the other ribbon to go right on top. And there's it halfway through. And I'm just going to show you one more that's a very simple 1, 2, 3. All you have to do is I have a rope, a neon rope, and then I have some leather here. And I just twist this around the neon rope, and I cut it at the end. And this is a headband, another one that you can just kind of wrap around. You can put it on top, or you can put it across. Some people like to wear it this way, but there's all sorts of ways to do it. But on our next show, we'll talk about doll clothes, and we'll be making possibly something else. So this is it. This is what's happening in West Hartford.
She's a talk show host with style. She's a talk show host with flair. And she struts around the town from Pullback to the center. West Hartford is her game. Get to know her if you dare. Where in West Hartford is Adele Clark? Tell me where in West Hartford is Adele Clark?